your home team. This is 25 News Today.
Great early Friday morning. Thank you for waking up with us today on this Friday. We made it.
We made it.
We made it. I'm Lauren Melendez filling in for Simone Doughton alongside the lovely Alex Minky.
Oh, well, you know. Yes, I am in for Jesse Gwynn, so you get a double dose of us today.
Stuck with us for about 2.5 hours. So
yeah, so buckle in, get ready.
Why don't you tell them what it's looking like outside?
Good, they're gonna love this too. They love us, they love this weather. 67 degrees right now in downtown Peoria. Take a look at that. Not a single car on the road. Oh, one straggler. There we go. And that's probably a good thing because it is early pearly, that's for sure. And moving in just to a little bit of those other temperatures elsewhere. Pekin, you're at 67. Canton, 62. Normal, 65. Lakin, 60, or not 60 yet, 59. They're still making their way to the 60s. We're going to continue with this really nice pattern. We've been really blessed with the weather that we have going on with us right now. We are going to get some showers, but we'll talk about that coming up in just a few minutes. And luckily, we're not facing what Florida is because all eyes are on Florida as Dorian will impact a huge area in one way or another. The National Hurricane Center and Florida emergency officials are warning residents to take action now because the entire state is in the potential strike zone. And Jay Gray is there with the latest. Jay?
Dorian's early calling card, violent winds and driving rains battering the Caribbean. And now the hurricane is churning in the warm Atlantic waters, intensifying. Forecasters warning it could be a Category 4 storm with winds over 130 miles an hour at landfall.
Of a major storm, a major hurricane coming our way sometime during Labor Day.
The current forecast cone covers the entire Florida peninsula. And so does a state of emergency, extended today by Governor Ron DeSantis.
The time to act is now.
Millions in the path of the storm are stockpiling food and water, topping off fuel tanks, filling sandbags, gathering supplies.
From batteries, flashlights, generators, extension cords, anything that they can use that are going to give them the survival.
And testing generators to make sure they're ready.
Just worry about, just contaminated water, worried about the electricity. How long is the electricity going to go out if it goes out?
Concerns shared by millions in the storm's path right now.
You can kind of see that there's, any portion of Florida could take the brunt of a strike.
As Dorian takes aim at the Florida coast. Jay Gray, NBC News, Cocoa Beach.
All right, Jay, thank you so much. Well, topping the news this morning, Peoria police are still searching for the suspect in an early morning shooting just yards away from two schools. Now, out of precaution, those schools were placed on soft lockdowns. It all happened yesterday before 7:30 a.m. here in the 3100 block of Isabel Street. But police say the victim ran away from them even after he had at least one gunshot wound. He also made his way to the 3100 block of 12 Oaks Drive, about 1 block away and within walking distance of both Jefferson Primary School and St. Philomena Catholic School. So, of course, Peoria Public Schools and the Peoria Diocese both enforce those lockdowns for anyone inside the building.
No, it was scary because so many children in the neighborhood and joggers. It's just a peaceful, nice, slow-paced neighborhood, and this put a lot of excitement for early in the morning. It must have been terrifying.
Yeah, indeed. Well, many of the parents we spoke to said they did feel like the schools handled it pretty well despite their fears, and they said that they were notified very quickly. Well, as we mentioned, that shooting was just 2 blocks from 2 different schools, and it comes just days after 2 different school threats in central Illinois. A licensed psychotherapist, Dr. Joy Miller, says when threats and violence surround children and teens, it is essential that parents or guardians talk about it. She says while schools conduct many drills on how to physically respond to these types of events, far too often we do not discuss the emotional impacts it has on that student.
Need to ask their child how they feel about the situation. Allow them to the safety to really talk about feelings. Are they feeling anxious? Are they feeling nervous? Are they feeling scared? It's also important that parents normalize that by saying, yes, of course this is scary. So that's why we do all these practices.
And the Tazewell County Sheriff is still investigating that matter, but we will talk more about that later. A 50-year-old Stark County man was arrested this morning for possession and dissemination of child pornography. Rodney King was taken into custody after police searched his property in the 10,000 block of Moden Road in Wyoming. King is being held in the Stark County Jail and is expected to be in court today. Meanwhile, a Woodford County Sheriff's deputy is recovering after his car was struck by a wrong-way driver on I-39 early Thursday morning. It happened around 4:15 a.m. near the Minunk exit. State police say a driver suffered a medical condition and was driving slowly on the wrong side of that interstate. The Woodford County deputy tried to slow his car, but the other driver struck him head-on. Both of those drivers were transported to a local hospital where they were treated and released. An investigation into the crash is ongoing. A medical marijuana dispensary in Canton will now be allowed to sell recreational marijuana when it becomes legal this January. Salveo Health and Wellness Center is one of 5 dispensaries in Illinois that the state just approved for, quote, same-site sales. That means Salveo will be able to sell both medical and recreational marijuana. Other facilities without same-site licenses will have to open a second facility if they wish to be a part of that group. And taking a look at statewide news, bills have been signed, and it's a good thing because Governor Pritzker is going to miss a step. He unfortunately has a hairline fracture to his left femur. Pritzker's office says he is in good spirits, but a doctor has now required rest for 4 to 6 weeks, but no surgery, luckily. They say he was injured for a while, but felt significantly worse after attending several events where he had to stand or walk a significant distance, of course, like parades and state fairs. Pritzker says he doesn't even know what caused that injury. In a stern warning from health experts in Wisconsin, stop vaping. The Milwaukee Health Department says 16 people have been hospitalized recently with chemical pneumonia. Officials say each of those cases is linked to vaping. Last week, the first death linked to vaping was reported right here in Illinois. A Milwaukee alderman says there's a chance the products that made people sick came from unregulated places.
That's part of it, and buyer beware, but you don't know if those products get into a regular store either. And I'd be very hesitant about taking that gamble.
Well, Milwaukee health officials say the chemical pneumonia warning applies to vaping and e-cigs. Symptoms do include coughing, shortness of breath, fatigue, fever, chest pain, nausea, and diarrhea. Well, the era of a well-known greenhouse flower shop in Pekin has sadly come to an end. The greenhouses that were built between 1915 and 1920 were demolished on Wednesday. The owners of the shop say that after 100 years of growth inside the building, the steel inside was beyond repair and Mother Nature took its course. Now, owner of the greenhouse flower shop says this is a bittersweet moment for them.
It's kind of bittersweet to see that all go. It's a lot of my history of growing up with my dad being a grower of flowers.
Well, the greenhouse was originally built to grow roses for the Rose Bowl in California. A new greenhouse will be built starting in September. Well, the weighted totals from our back-to-school drive are still being compiled, and there's plenty to count because you stuffed our buses with tons of snacks. This is how it looked. Oh, I apologize. It looks like we're having some video difficulties. But again, we thank everyone for our donations. Kids in Central Illinois who do not have food waiting at home are going to be counting on those items. The United Way estimates 1 in 5 students here are at risk of going hungry. And all of this will be given out in backpacks to area students this Friday. That's why we loaded it all into a school bus, so thank you for your help. And the winner of the Peoria Chiefs jersey is the lucky person holding ticket number 525182. Take a good look, 525182. Bring that ticket to our studios in East Peoria, and it is yours if I don't get to it first. All right. It was a day of giving at our 25 studios on Thursday. We did host our American Red Cross for an all-day blood drive, and we did not quite reach our goal, but we did get a total of 23 pints of blood donated. Again, thank you, of course, to everyone who stopped by to do that, including some of our own, Tyler Lopez, and a few of our producers as well. Well, people in the medical field are dedicated to helping those they treat feel better, but like everyone else, they sometimes need someone to cover their shift. That's where Pat Drake comes in. She is one of this year's 25 Women in Leadership.
Pat Drake, Fidelity on Call. We are a medical staffing company. We are the backup team to Quality Hospitals for RNs. So when hospitals have a requirement because somebody's out, they can't find a certain discipline, that's why they would contact our company. Oh my gosh, I love my job. My particular passion always in whatever I do is the marketing side of what we do. If you don't continually look at what your market is, if you don't continually change and grow your company, I firmly think that in this industry we would have failed. I love the fact that you can always be creating, always developing a company. Every day's different. There is never anything boring about a day at Fidelity.
Oh, well, again, congratulations to you, Pat Drake. And still ahead on 25 News today, Alex will tell us how those temps are shaping up for your weekend. And we'll tell you what's making world headlines on the other side of this break. Stay with us.